What a sad episode. I mean, if it really matters to you as far as what's happening within Yuaba's army, because the fact is, here it is, two friends, for like a better term, kind of grew up together and had such traumatic experiences, but then everything changes once they get older. But there's a lot of little nuanced things that kind of affects their relationship as things go on. So we'll kind of delve into that a little bit. But there was a few instances of differences that I knew was going to happen in this episode as they kind of explain more about the relationship between the two. So going into the differences, they essentially kind of expanded upon what was talked about in the manga. One of the things that stood out for me was this part with the uncle. Now, this moment was captured in the manga about the uncle coming out and it's like, hey, Jugo. But this was definitely way creepier in the anime because it kind of showcased what was happening to him. Like in the manga, of course, it did show like a bruise or something on Jugo, but then you kind of skim over it because the bruise was just so small, and Bazz B does kind of take note of it. But in the actual anime, you see that he has bruises all over, and that of course they try to hide it a little with his shirt and such, so you can tell he's kind of being abused here. But then when the uncle comes out and starts talking, he kind of says the same lines as in the manga, but it's so creepy and gives you that, just kind of crawls up your skin like, oh, okay, we kind of see what his uncle's actually doing to him to make him have this demoralized personality. But we'll go into that a little bit more. And also the whole battle with Yuaba, it kind of just briefly says, yeah, Yuaba attacked my castle and killed everyone. And then of course Jugo says how his uncle dies in it. But it was so much realized in the anime. You literally see Yuaba and his forces taking out Bazz B's family, the Lord of the Land, as he tries to conquer lands and such, literally decimates everyone. And even, I guess, Bazz B's mother that was there with him, and then she's just gone. And then Bazz B able to kind of get out of the ruins of the castle. And here it is, he literally sees Yuaba coming across. So definitely a lot more information and a lot more expanded information that was given to us. And even one thing that was cleared up, I think that was cleared up even better, was the fact that it details afterwards how, yeah, they went to the castle, they got coins, and then they kind of lived off the forest. But if you was just kind of reading the manga, you could kind of not necessarily skip over it, but it was hard to infer that the fact that they lived for 5 years in the forest. There was no like, oh, they went to the village and that's where they live now. And, as they grew up and honed their skills. No, they lived off the land. And of course, the gold coins, I'm sure Bazz B, the town knew of him and knew that he was the Lord's son. So he had to have gone into town and sold off the coins to try to make money to get, maybe some supplies, some food every now and then. But the two of them lived together for 5 years after that fact in the forest, deep in the forest. And then after the whole instance of what happened in the village, how Jugo goes with Yuaba, Bazz B lives for another 3 years, I assume in the forest, to hone his skills before he becomes a Stern Ritter. So for Bazz B, it's like 8 years in the forest, but for Jugo, it's like 5 years in the forest, and then he becomes, the lap of luxury, if you will, as from nobody to advisor. But it's just all of those things kind of come together. It's like, dang, there's a lot that these two went through that cannot be understated. Now, I want to deep dive a little bit more into Jugo here. Now, Jugo has definitely a codependent personality. Like, he grows up and he has no parents. He's living off his uncle. And then he attaches himself to Bazz B, who has such a strong personality. Now, we learn that Bazz B is pretty much a nobody, no-name character. He's not MC material. He's nothing for him. Like if he was in any other anime, he kind of would be that side character that you see in a corner that's just like, whatever. But thanks to Jugo, his power ends up being stronger and stronger and stronger to where he thinks this dude's like, oh man, I got MC aura here. That he's like, I'm just so much stronger. But come to find out, it's because of Jugo and just being around him that Jugo amplifies his power. So that of course makes Bazz B have the big head. And Jugo has a codependency on Bazz B as he just kind of takes a back seat and it's like, whatever, Bazz B does, we'll go for it. But then there was the moment where they go to the village and they meet Yuaba. And Yuaba comes in, who is definitely strong, way stronger than Bazz B, and literally says, I need you, child. Like, I need you. Before, here you have Jugo just kind of living off other people and kind of just doing whatever, being abused in multiple different ways. But then you have somebody, a strong character like Yuaba, come to you and says, I need you. You are the cornerstone of my movement and what we're going to do. And he goes from like nobody to being like, you're an advisor. Understand that this whole time in their fight, he has no powers in the aspect that he is not manifesting some bow and arrow. He is literally just fighting him with a sword. So all this power manifestation that Bazz Black is coming with, the fingers, the fire, all this, he is literally just beating him off sword skills alone. Attacks him, chops off his arm, does so much to him that it's just like ridiculous. Like, dang, he's this powerful. He has no power of his own, per se. We also learned that even Bazz was saying that, hey, when the night comes, you get Yuaba's power. Now, just think of it like this. Jugo didn't want to fight his friend, Bazz Black. He didn't. Even in this moment when he's yelling at him, just yelling at him to stop. The whole time in the fight, he's like, hey, stop, fight. I don't want to fight you. Please stop. Understand, when the night descends, he gets Yuaba's powers. He gets the almighty powers. So he already he see the future previously. Like he's already seen this future that he would fight his friend Bazz. So he knew how this fight was going to turn out. But of course he couldn't stop it. He's sitting there saying, please stop fighting, stop it. And he's yelling at him. But of course he's going to sit there and defend himself. And who knows how long ago he knew how this would turn out. Maybe he knew this would turn out way back when he was a commander, and that's why he kind of just didn't want to fight with Bazz and kind of blew him off because he knew the future that was going to happen. Who knows? But you can see the turmoil, if you will, with the codependent personality of Jugo, because he went from Bazz Black to Yuaba. And he's like second in command under Yuaba. And this is why everyone was thinking that, oh, Jugo is going to be, quote unquote, the second command, the next one after Yuaba. Yuaba names Uryu. So of course, way back when, that surprised everyone. Way back in Cour 1, they were like, wait, what? And then, of course, Jugo just kind of takes it in stride. And Jugo has been showing kind of no personality at all up until this point, other than watching Uryu every moment. Like anything Uryu's doing, he's there in the background like, what's going on here? Because, you could tell that he doesn't believe that Uryu is who he says he is. But Uryu keeps showcasing and killing off all these Soul Reapers, to like, yeah, I'm one of you guys. So much was happening here in this episode, and so much between the relationship between Jugo and Bazz Black, and it's just such a sad moment that he ended up doing what he had to do. I personally believe Bazz B knew he was going to die. Like he knew that this was going to be his end. He's always been trying to fight with Jugo. Before, the whole mentality was kill Yuaba, and then the mentality was, nah, that's my goal, but take a step down and let's fight Jugo. Let's fight Jugo. I want to fight you, Jugo. Jugo, where are you going? What are you doing? Why won't you fight me? And then he finally has this fight and he's like, yeah, you beat me. I kind of figured he would. And you know what? It doesn't even feel that bad. It's like, you're dying. You're dead. What do you mean it doesn't feel that bad? It is what it is. So like I said, this fight alone and a lot of things that happened has more nuance to it than it just normally seems. Their dynamic, their relationship was so dynamic and so you know, mixed up, especially when you add Yuaba to the mix, but they couldn't be the friends they may have wanted to be. And I think it hurt Jugo to learn of the future and knew that this was going to come at one point or another. And of course, he wanted to stop it. He didn't want it to happen, but he had no choice. And it is what it is. Overall, the graphics were pretty cool. And I mean, just dang, the dynamic when he cut off his arm and it just went, just like was snaking around like a rocket to destroy stuff. I was like, dang, that's pretty crazy. Such a good show. I'm enjoying it a lot, and I hope you guys are enjoying these reviews. Of course, next week is going to be 2 episodes in one. It's the finale of Cour 3, and we're going to get like the last 2 episodes together. So Lord knows we shall see how that turns out and what's going to go down there. But I can't wait to see how it all turns out as we end Cour 3, and Cour 4 promises to be a whole lot more information and a whole lot more new information, and maybe even whole episodes that are new from what Mr. Kubo has been saying himself, that it's a lot of fans that already know about the manga are going to even be surprised by things. So I cannot wait till Cour 4 comes out, and we'll kind of go from there when we get an official date and all that. In the meantime, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Make sure you comment down below what you guys think. And of course, make sure you like the video. Make sure you guys are subscribed so that we can discuss more about this anime and several others. New season is upon us. The end of the year is here. So I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. And as we discuss more in the future, come January, a whole new anime season, hey, hit that bell notification so you guys don't miss out on anything. Be safe, take care, and Lord willing, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now.
This ain't what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon.